True success is being a master of your health, wealth, and relationships, and being able to enjoy the journey and enjoy the fucking process. If you can become the most valuable man on the planet to your wife, she will never leave you. Communication is the key to connection. What do Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Brad Pitt all have in common? It's not the fact that they're all billionaires. Well, yeah, I get it. Brad Pitt's a millionaire. It's the fact that even though they're rich, all of them had the wife or wives initiate their divorce. And this is the problem. So many successful men crush it in business and make money, but their relationships and personal lives are falling apart. So in today's podcast episode, we're going to discuss 4 lessons from billionaires on how to fix your marriage and life. This is for you if you're struggling with work-life balance, your marriage or relationship is not where you want it to be, or you're just not happy with your current existence. And the beautiful thing is these uber rich men have given us a bunch of clues on exactly what not to do. So let's dive into what those are right now. So this is clearly an extremely interesting topic because these guys are the epitome of what it means to be successful. They make a shitload of money. They can buy and have whatever the fuck they want. In the case of Brad Pitt or even Jeff Bezos now, they are jacked as fuck. They look great physically, but for whatever reason, the wife said, "I'm done." Now we can argue the fact that the wife only got into the relationship for the money, but in the case of Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, she was already wealthy before that relationship. This is the first lesson from these uber successful men, and that is that wealth does not equal success. Yeah, you heard that right. You might get triggered and upset by that. Like, fuck you, random guy on the internet. What do you know about success? Look, I'm a millionaire. I've made property investments. We currently have 4 properties. We're about to buy a 5th. I've got a company that does about $4 to $5 million of revenue a year. And I'm considered successful. But in my business, the biggest months of wealth creation, the biggest months of money in the bank account, I've been the most depressed. And many times I've been the most stressed. For a lot of guys, we think that if we make money and provide, that when we get to that milestone or when we get to that next thing, that's when we'll be happy. That's when we'll feel like we have enough. But for so many years of my life, and I guarantee it's the same for Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, it's this go, go, go mindset. You hit that target, you hit that goal, and it's on to the next one. What initially was you wanting to provide for your family as a high-performing man, as a leader, as a father and a husband, what initially is us wanting to make money and put food on the table and just have a life of freedom can very quickly spiral into stressful days and stressful nights, not being able to switch off, and constantly being busy because we're chasing this number. We're chasing targets. And for me, from so many years of my life, it's become this thing in Empowered Man where that's all I do. I chase targets. I hit that milestone, onto the next one. We hire that employee, onto the next one. We don't actually slow down enough to be able to smell the roses and enjoy what's going on for us. Now, the lesson here is very, very simple. There are 3 key areas every single man must be in control of when it comes to being successful in life. The first one is health. You've got to be healthy, not just physically, as in looking great, but also feeling great, mentally being healthy, being able to control negative thoughts and emotions. Health is your sleep, it's your nutrition, it's the physical and mental body that you're in. So many wealthy men, they sacrifice their health in the pursuit of success, working long hours, long days, long nights, not exercising, not eating well. Now, you might be able to be successful and be overweight and unhealthy. However, it ties into the second area, which is wealth. Wealth is what we all chase. We want to make money. We want to be successful. In the case of these billionaires, it's one of their highest values. There's no off button. It's grow, 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 make more money, be more successful. And the third area is relationships. This is why we work so fucking hard. The worst thing they can do to you in prison, the biggest punishment they have is called solitary confinement. They put you in a room by yourself. Why? Because that eats away at a human being. They did it to Andrew Tate recently. This is the worst thing because you don't have relationships. Now you got to realize that all these areas are linked. So in the case of Brad Pitt, sexy fucking guy, looks phenomenal, millionaire, but his relationships are falling apart. And we'll talk about why in a second. As a modern day man, you want to have mastery and balance between these three areas. Because if one of these areas isn't working, or two of these areas aren't working, you're going to be damn sure it brings down the area that is working. Let's say, for example, you're successful in your business, you're making money, you're crushing it, but your wife cheats on you. Well, then that's going to make you go into a downward spiral where you might drink alcohol or take drugs, so your health goes down as well, all because the relationship was suffering. Let's say you have a fucking amazing relationship, a wife that would never leave, but you can't pay the bills. You might have a six-pack. If you can't pay the bills, there's going to be a certain point where she fucks off. And then you can have a great business and you can have loads of money and a great relationship. But if you're unhealthy and overweight and have a heart attack, none of it matters. For a lot of these successful men, billionaires especially, they're overweight, they're unhealthy, they're unhappy, but they make a lot of money. So in life, you got to have all three. I remember when Rosie and I first got together, my wife, and we've coached hundreds of men. One of our clients does 120 million a year. It's always the same story, but with us, because I was so imbalanced and all the time and energy went into wealth, my health was suffering. I was drinking every single night. I was numbing myself with weed, and I was scrolling on my phone, sedating myself, which meant I wasn't connected to my wife. I wasn't happy. I was full of anxiety and stress, and I wasn't, the healthiest version of myself. So she was upset and we were arguing. All these things are connected, and it all comes back to this lesson that wealth does not equal success. True success is being a master of your health, wealth, and relationships and being able to enjoy the journey and enjoy the fucking process. So you get to ask yourself, are you successful in terms of finances? But how successful are you in the other two areas that men must be successful in, which are health and relationship? The second lesson here from Billionaires on how to fix your marriage and life is the fact that how busy you are has no correlation to how successful you are. For years, these men have grinded. For what? Being busy, sacrificing time with their children, sacrificing time with their wife, sacrificing time enjoying life to make a shitload of money. Now let's just make something very clear here. Money is extremely important. Money provides opportunities and freedom. If there's an emergency and you need a private jet or the world's best surgeon, money can get you that. But money only solves money problems. And the way to get money for a lot of people is to sacrifice time. There's not too many ways to get rich quick. It's all a fucking farce. You gotta work hard to make money. Sure, there's some ways, but it's pretty damn rare. Otherwise, everyone will be wealthy. So just understanding that how busy you are does not equal how successful you are. For so many men, they sacrifice years of their life in the pursuit of success. And I deal with this to this day, and I teach fucking work-life balance to hundreds of men. Every morning, my daughter, as I'm walking upstairs, 7 a.m., I've done my morning routine. She goes, Daddy, Daddy. She wants me to walk back down the stairs. I'm making a conscious choice to sacrifice time with my daughter, which I will never get back, to record this podcast for you, to record the audios for my clients, to get on coaching sessions with our team, to hire and fire team members. All of that is time, energy, and effort that I'm sacrificing from my family. Now, I don't know about you, but a lot of successful men, they correlate how successful they are with how busy they are. Yeah, how's work going? Oh, mate, fucking under the pump, fucking busy as, man, just really busy. Got so much going on. And it's almost like it's this badge of honor that the more you work and the more hours you do, pulled 80 hours this week, the more successful you are. But for a lot of guys, what we actually do is we waste fucking time. We procrastinate and mentally masturbate, and we don't actually focus on the needle movers. When you focus on the needle movers in a business or career, that's when you skyrocket your income because you're doing high leverage activities and high leverage tasks. Life is about balance. And what women want, what your children want, is they want quality time. Now, I know it's hard because you got to work to make money, but where in your life could you find that balance? Balance is simply where you direct your time, energy, and effort. And the only person who decides where you direct your time, energy, and effort is you. No one's fucking controlling you. So you got to ask yourself, what does your family actually want? Do they want nice things and toys and cars? And it's okay if they do, but what do they really desire? They desire a leader and a man to be around the household. Women want quality time. quantity time. Your children are going to remember the time you spent with them and the lessons you taught them. They're not going to remember the things you bought them. Let me say that one more time so it lands. Your wife and kids are not going to remember the things you bought them. They're going to remember the quality time and the things that you taught them. And this is a reminder for me as well, and so many of our clients. It's like, how busy you are does not represent how successful you are, especially when you're so busy putting 40, 50, 60 hours into your business or career and an hour, maybe less, into your family. A big thing we teach our clients is just have 4 meals plus a week with your family, present, looking them in the eyes, being there for them. This does wonders for marriages. This does wonders for connection in your relationships and getting that third area, health, wealth, and relationships firing. So how busy do you think you are? How successful do you think you are? Do you correlate those two things? And do you spend enough quality time and quantity time with your family? Very powerful question, and most men, they fucking struggle with this. Brother, if you're getting value from this podcast and you want to take your life to the next level, you want to fix your marriage, reconnect with your children, and find work-life balance, then go to the link down below and book a coaching session with my team. On this session, we'll build out a roadmap for you on how to have the wealth, the health, and relationships you deserve, on how to be a better husband, a better father, and a better man. So whether it's taking your business to the next level, fixing your relationship, or taking that to the next level, if you know you could be better, go and book a coaching session with our team and we'll build out a custom roadmap for you. Just use the first link in the description. Something to add here that's extremely fucking important is you don't take any of the material stuff to the grave. Again, money's great. I love having nice things. We just got a Tesla, I got a Rolex, great. But you don't take any of it to the grave. And if you were to die today, would you be happy with how much time, energy, and effort you've had with your family, your children, and your wife? I can tell you right now, I would not when it comes to my daughter. With my wife, we've had a great time. Now, I was at a boxing class about 16 years ago. There's this big guy next to me, about 140 kilos, about 350 pounds, right next to me, punching the boxing bag, and he drops to the ground, slumps to the floor. Now, I thought he was having a laugh, having a joke. It turns out he was having a heart attack. So they rushed us to the other side of the room, and we're watching them perform CPR on this guy. Now, I'm quite an emotional guy, you can tell in my videos, and I started crying because I thought about how unfair it was that he wasn't, he was dying in front of me. We found out he died on the way to the hospital and left a wife and 3 kids behind. So this is the point, is like, you never know when you're going to go, and you can be successful without being busy when you put the right systems and processes in place. And if you're not putting time and energy into your wife or your relationships, then that will come back to bite you, especially, touch wood, if that happens. The third lesson from Billionaires is that the most important skill on the planet is communication. Let's think about Elon Musk for a second. If you've ever watched one of his interviews, the dude is clearly not the best socially. He's gotten way better, but he is awkward. I think he has Asperger's or autism, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But the guy's not the best communicator in public. You can only imagine what he's like behind the scenes with his wife or his children. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad communicator. Brad Pitt, phenomenal communicator. When you listen to that guy talk, you're like, fuck yeah, this guy's a weapon, which makes sense. He's a fucking actor, right? Should probably drop some more F-bombs in that sequence. The point here, though, is that the number one skill in life is communication, and you can be a great communicator when it comes to business. That's how you market. That's how you make money. That's how you make sales. The fact that you're still listening to this podcast means that I've communicated with you in a way where something's clicked and you're like, fuck, this actually makes sense. This guy's spitting some truth. Let's keep listening. You could be doing anything else right now. Please don't leave. Stay with me. But you're listening to this because of my communication. The thing is, the number one skill in life is communication. And clearly for these men, their communication and their relationships fail. How do I know this? Because communication is the key to connection. It is virtually impossible for your wife to leave or say she wants a divorce if you're communicating consistently and effectively. Think about that for a second. When my partner came home 7 years ago and said, Tony, I don't love you anymore, that didn't happen overnight. Even though I was successful in making money, I was also sweeping under the rug all the problems that existed in the relationship. She didn't understand why I worked so hard. She thought that I wasn't committed to the relationship. I didn't know what made her happy. I didn't know what was going through her head. And for 6 months prior to her leaving the relationship, she was thinking about ending it. I didn't ask her if she felt loved. I didn't ask her if she felt supported. So this is the thing about relationships, especially for successful men. We make the assumption that because we're making money and providing, we make the assumption that because we're doing our job as a male, that that's enough. And whether you like it or not, it's not fucking fair. It's not enough anymore because there is a lot of competition out there. There are men who are wealthy, have six packs, and also know how to communicate well. Here's some questions you can ask yourself to see if you're a good communicator or not, despite how successful you are. When it comes to your relationships especially, does your partner or wife understand your vision? Do they understand why you work so hard and how important it is to you? I know Rosie gets it. My wife gets why I work hard, but she doesn't really understand the stress and pressure that I feel every day. She doesn't understand, how much I think about work. So I can either expect her to understand or I can communicate that. Do you communicate your vision consistently? Do you communicate what's going on for you internally, mentally, emotionally? When they ask, how was your day? Do you say it was fine? Or do you just scroll on your phone and you say, yeah, I had a really rough day today? Do you let them know the restraints? When you're going to have to work more hours? Or do you just work more hours and come home late and expect your partner to be okay with that? Do you let them know when things change? When we lose team members, I communicate with Rosie. We just hired someone, we just fired someone. Or do they know nothing about your personal life or business life? And then on the flip side, do you understand what they need and desire? Do you ask them, hey, what's going on for you? What can I do better in this relationship? What do you miss that I used to do? How do you feel about the time we're spending together? We've coached on this in previous podcasts. We have a system at Empowered Man called the Love Connection Forum, LCF, where you clarify facts and where you communicate forever. And you ask your partner if they're feeling loved, appreciated, supported, understood, or respected, which are the 5 key elements to an amazing relationship. Now, it's virtually impossible. If your partner is feeling loved, appreciated, supported, understood, and respected, and if you are feeling loved, appreciated, supported, understood, and respected, if those 2 pieces come together in a relationship and you're communicating when they're not happening and when they are, and you're building upon that and growing together instead of growing apart, it's virtually impossible to get divorced because you're communicating when things aren't working, you're communicating when things are working, you're constantly leveling up that relationship, not just your bank balance or your finances. You can be damn sure Angelina Jolie and whoever the fuck Elon Musk was dating and Jeff Bezos, when their partner said, I want a divorce, there was a massive breakdown in communication. They were arguing, they weren't connecting, they had nothing to talk about or connect on, they were at each other's throats, guaranteed. Communication is the key to connection, and these billionaires teach us one thing. They know how to communicate. In business, they know how to communicate as an actor, but they don't know how to communicate when it comes to their relationships. And if you learn this skill, you'll fucking win. So how's your communication? With your wife, with your kids? How's your personal relationship? The 4th lesson is extremely relevant, and these billionaires will teach you what the fuck to do, and that's to become the most valuable man on the planet. This ties into the last 3 points, the last 3 lessons that we've discussed. Value isn't just derived from how much money you make. That is a piece of value, but value is holistic. Value is how much value you add to someone's life in all areas. When you make money and provide for your wife, your children, and your family, you're adding value in the form of safety and security. You're providing certainty that they can have what they want, when they want it, how they want it. That's what money provides you. It's a ticket to a form of freedom. However, if you're yelling, angry, grumpy, or triggered, you're now taking away some of that value by removing safety and security because you're inconsistent with how you show up. You can be successful and make money, but an asshole when you come home. You can put food on the table and buy them nice things, but you can also be grumpy. You can be stressed after a long day, or you can struggle at communicating. Whether you like it or not, relationships are transactional. If somebody doesn't add value to your life, you won't want to hang out with them. You won't want to spend time with them. We've all had friends that we used to spend a lot of time with. And over the years, the months, over time, you drift apart because you have different values, different belief systems, and they don't actually add much to your life anymore. And that's sad, but it's also a reality of life, and it's okay. It's the exact same in our personal relationships. These are successful men, some of the most valuable men on the planet, but clearly they weren't adding the right amount of value or the right type of value to their partners. And this is a question you get to ask yourself. When it comes to health, how valuable are you? How do you look as a man? How's your energy, physically and mentally? How are you in control of your thoughts? In your wealth, do you provide money? Do you provide safety and security? But do you also provide time? Do you provide balance? Do you provide presence with your family? And then in terms of relationships, how's your communication? How do you make that person feel? How do they perceive you? If you can become the most valuable man on the planet to your wife, she will never leave you. Because by definition, there's nothing better out there. You don't have to be a billionaire to be the most valuable man on the planet. Women are typically emotional creatures. Men are much more logical. And we can add a lot of value simply by meeting our wife's emotional needs, simply by showing up as the man that she desires. Now, to be the most valuable man on the planet for your partner, you have to know what she wants. What does she value? To be valuable, what does she value? What is important to her in a husband? How does she like you to dress? How does she like you to provide? How does she like you to communicate? This isn't a conversation about bend over backwards and let her tell you how to live your life. This is a matter of being that man for her. And what most women love, whether they will admit it or not, is a masculine man who's a leader, who's assertive, certain, and confident, who's got confidence, certainty, but who also knows how to be empathetic. He knows how to communicate with her, meet her needs, knows how to make her feel special and loved without putting her up on a pedestal. This is what a lot of men do. They put women up on a pedestal. We coached a client a few years ago, and he jumped into our program. He spent, quite a bit of money with us, and we turned his life around, but he used to pay his wife for sex. What? He would give her $1,000, $2,000, $6,000 because she got into a pattern where she was on a pedestal and she wanted something and they weren't intimate. And he'd go, yeah, you know what? Do you want a new bag? I'll buy a new bag. Let's have sex. Like that's like prostitution in a marriage, right? So you got to ask yourself, how do you become the most valuable man you can be for your partner? And what's really interesting is when you become a super high value male, not just in terms of wealth, but in terms of all three areas, health, wealth, relationships, how you deliver your message to your partner, how she receives it, then she's going to become more valuable as well because she's going to be afraid of losing the number one asset, which is you. And there's nothing wrong with a bit of healthy fear because ultimately, if you love her and she loves you, you're going to be strong. You're going to stick together. This is such a powerful lesson that most millionaires and billionaires get wrong. They think that by adding money, they're valuable. Become the most valuable man in all three areas, health, wealth, and relationships. Now, that was a lot of fucking information, a lot of words. I went on a bit of a rant, but let's recap these 4 powerful lessons from billionaires. Mr. Jeff Bezos, Mr. Bill Gates, vaccination king, Elon Musk, and our boy Brad Pitt. These 4 lessons are life-changing when you apply them. The first one is this: wealth does not equal success. It's important to be wealthy, but some of the richest men on the planet, even though they were successful, they lost their relationships. What's the point of being successful and making money if you lose your family in the process? There are 3 key areas: health, wealth, and relationships. And to be successful, you got to find success in all 3 of those areas by having balance. Number 2, how busy you are does not represent how successful you are. You can have work-life balance. You can also have time and energy and effort for your family, for your loved ones, to enjoy life, to be fulfilled and happy while making money. And it's not about how much you work. It's about how smart you work so you can also have that time with the people that you love. 3, the number 1 skill in life is communication, not just in business, not just in wealth, but also with your partner. Knowing each other intimately, knowing what makes you tick, knowing what you want and don't want, and growing together. And the only way you can do that effectively is by communicating well, becoming a master of communication inside of your relationship. And number 4 is to become the most valuable man on the planet. Add value to that person. Every relationship is a transaction. When you become the most valuable man you can be for your wife, for your kids, for your friends, and for your family, you get elevated to the top. You become that leader that they follow and that they will never leave. So I hope you got some value from this. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up on YouTube or 5 stars wherever you're listening. Feel free to drop a comment down below. Share your thoughts on these topics. Why do billionaires get divorced so often? And also, if you do want to become healthy, successful, and wealthy in every area, if you want to fix your marriage, reconnect with your children, and find work-life balance, then click the link down below. It'll be the first link in the description where you'll be able to book a coaching session with our Empowered Man team. And on this coaching session, we'll build out a roadmap for you on how to have it all: successful business, healthy body, bulletproof mind, and a marriage full of intimacy, love, and connection where you're the fucking man, the most valuable man on the planet. If that's something you're interested in, we've helped over 850 men at the time of recording this. I know we can help you too. So go and book a session with our team. We'll build a roadmap for you on how to have it all. Brother, if you're getting value from this podcast and you want to take your life to the next level, you want to fix your marriage, reconnect with your children, and find work-life balance, then go to the link down below and book a coaching session with my team. On this session, we'll build out a roadmap for you on how to have the wealth, the health, and relationships you deserve, on how to be a better husband, a better father, and a better man. So whether it's taking your business to the next level, fixing your relationship, or taking that to the next level, if you know you could be better, go and book a coaching session with our team and we'll build out a custom roadmap for you. Just use the first link in the description.